Side, he threw his fist and every rock around me could find. No, which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Killing 20 in their sleep. Soldiers following orders, miners fighting for their rights. Now the soldiers didn't know those miners had more than shovels and knives. Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on?
Great.
What's next?
Might have to adjust the mic on the get though.
Those are too many. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, we have to do this now?
Wish us luck.
Can't just sit around and talk all day?
You can't just sit around and talk all day.
Dang it. All right.
Okay, so welcome. My name is Tracy Sizemore, and depending on what orientation we're in, Tim Earley is the man with the bushy beard, and he's waving right now. He is the reason Holler exists. And we're going to get into a little bit about what Holler, the setting, is about, because we kind of have to have a little bit of a foreknowledge before we get into this adventure. So hello, Tim. Do you want to introduce yourself and a little bit about Holler itself?
Sure. I'm Tim Earley, like Tracy said, the creator of Holler. It's a dark fantasy folk horror game about sort of industrial conflict between robber barons, industrialists, and workers. It's set in a mythical version of Appalachia, roughly Depression era, 1920s, 1930s. The Holler is sealed off from the rest of the world. There's a lot of different sort of legendary explanations about why this is the case, but long story short, the workers are trapped here. The big boys sort of run roughshod over everything in their mines and mills and logging operations. The landscape is very haunted, demon-infested, cryptid-infested, and so the folks have a really difficult life. There's this toxic fog called the blight that sort of rolls across the landscape and does unpredictable things to the flora and the fauna and the hearts and minds of the people as well. And the heroes are a group who is sort of joining together to fight back against the big boys. It's just the sort of the very neophytic seeds of a resistance movement that we're trying to sort of foment and bring together to challenge the big boys ultimately.
Awesome. And to my right, at least as far as I see, is Darrell Hayhurst, my good friend from childhood. I've known him for like 40 some odd years. And Darrell, we're going to go ahead and introduce
That's why
yourself.
Tracy is the way she is.
It
Thanks,
certainly
Darrell.
had a formative influence on me.
Well, I'm playing Jubilee Skaggs, the bluegrass picker, which means I'll be a picking and I'll be a grinning. And occasionally I'll put my hat on for proper effect, as I do this. Jubilee's here for a good time, a model and tail, and strum, and to make trouble. And that's what I'm good at.
Yes, he is very good at that. And below me and to my left is Ron Blessing, another very good friend of mine, and he is playing Zilla Rude. Ron, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Ron Blessing. I have been a Savage Worlds fan since day one, actually since the ramp up to day one, and done some podcasting, done some editing in the Savage Worlds group. I do one with Tracy and occasionally Darrell and occasionally Boof called Savage Interludes, and
occasionally Tim.
Tim once. That's hardly occasionally, but I'm excited to be here.
And then below me and to my right is my better half, Jessica Boof Sizemore. Boof, do you want to introduce yourself?
I am the person lucky enough to be chosen by Tracy Sizemore, which is the best thing in the world. And I am a fairly novice player, I would say at this point. Am I wrong? Novice? No? Okay. Apparently not novice, but I think I am. So y'all have to forgive me. So, but these
The question is, will they think you're novice?
You run with big dogs. That means you're not a novice.
That's right. That's true, I guess. But these four people are some of the most amazing people that I have the joy to know. So I am very honored to be at this game. Thank you.
Wow. You're welcome.
Oh, and I play Annie Pickens, who is the granny woman.
Right.
I am very
We're gonna get to
excited.
that. Okay, so we've sort of heard a little bit about the Holler from Tim, and a couple of other at least one other thing that I want to make sure we mention is the blight, which Tim didn't touch on too much. The way, the big boys have their own industry, have their mines, they have their textile mills, they have all that stuff going on, and through their sealing off of the Holler, as far as we know, lots of legends about how the sealing of the Holler happened, but with it came the blight. which is sort of a thick fog of it acts like pollution, but it actually or spreads like pollution, but it actually acts on things in very supernatural and unpredictable ways. So many people believe that the reasons saints and demons exist is because of the blight. That's controversial in the Holler because it's all sort of tale telling and it's all sort of word of mouth kind of spread of information. And the blight is dangerous. It causes weird things to happen to people. And there are rules in the game for blight corruption, which I think are very cool. They might come up this game, and we'll see how that. And then there's the Fae. So I don't think Tim mentioned the Fae either. The Fae are fairies, and they're very strange, and there's different kinds of them, and they're all sort of beholden and under the control or guidance of the Fae Queen, and they live in Faefall, and the Faefall is within the Holler, but it is mysteriously free of blight. Somehow the Fae have managed to keep the blight out of Faefall completely. So as you go into the Faefall, you see the green grass and the perfect trees and the beautiful clear air and all that stuff. And really, any existence in Faefall is at the discretion of the Fae Queen, who is a bit fickle and unknowable in her association with the rest of the Holler residents. You don't really know what her motivations are, or what she's trying to do, or what she's all about. And the Fae that follow her are similar in that. So they exist as well, and they're sort of apart from the Holler in a way. So that is sort of what you need to know about the setting, I think. That we'll cover here, and then we'll discover more as we move along. But before you guys introduce your characters, I'll go ahead and start with, you guys have worked together. You guys are apart from the company system, as Tim said. You don't work within it, so you're not. You may have used to, but not anymore. If you did, you do your own thing. And you're trying to affect change in the Holler. You're actually actively trying to find ways to oust the big boys from the Holler, and maybe even get rid of the otherness and release the Holler from its prison. You have no idea how you're going to do that. You're just really starting off, but you have worked together for enough time to know each other, which is why we're going to have these introductions. And you also know LMA Hawkins. And LMA Hawkins is a sort of textile mill worker, and she's taking care of like 9 kids, and she's busy, and she's jaded and all that, but she's also motivated, and she's well connected. And she has sort of recruited you guys to, because you already work outside the system, to sort of explore what you can in order to get building a coalition or building people to help, this uprising against the big boys. And we're going to start with her, but before we do, let's go ahead and introduce characters. So we'll start with Tim and Percy Ray Bunch, one of my favorite characters.
I'm Percy Ray Bunch. My archetype is a curious youth archetype. I'm armed with my lucky horseshoe and a cap gun, which don't shoot bullets, it just goes pat, 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 right? So it doesn't have any damage capability, but I might find some sort of use from it. And I'm orphaned. Horrible, unfortunate thing occurred not too long ago. Everybody in my village just turned into bears one day. Actually, they turned into bears after I chopped down the biggest boogeyman tree in the Great Craggy Mountains. I chopped down this tree. I climbed all the way to the top. I chopped it down from the top to the bottom, took off just a little bit at a time, brought it all the way down. I was proud of myself. Not too long after that, folks got sick, started moving slow. They turned into bears. My mama, my daddy, my brother, sister, cousin, everybody in the village turned into bears. And then a big bear came out of the forest, 20 foot tall, size of 3 or 4 men stacked on top of one another like this. And just they followed him out into the woods and kept on going and disappeared into the otherness. And I've been trying to get Jubilee to sing a song about this, But he don't believe me. Don't nobody believe this story. But that's why I, Percy Ray Bunch, running around with these folks because I ain't got nowhere else to go.
All right, then. Percy's a talker, as you might have guessed.
Yeah, Big Mouth is one of my hindrances.
Exactly. And Jubilee Skaggs, the bluegrass picker.
Right, and it was apparently I didn't get the memo because I kind of already introduced Jubilee instead of myself.
Oh, okay.
And then again, it's almost all the same, except he's much better at playing the banjo. Like I'm not musically inclined, but everything I said about Trouble kind of goes double for Jubilee. And,
nice.
Well, when I'm not actively making trouble in the game, I'll be writing some kind of song to sing at an inappropriate time, and you'll all pay.
Outstanding. Zilla Rude.
So Zilla's archetype is she is a holy roller. Now, what they preach in the company churches is not true religion. It's all stove up and polite murmurs and whispers about working hard and doing right. True religion is all about the spirit. It runs through the body like a tongue of lightning and shoots out into the world with force of revelation. The big boys have not only raised themselves above other men, they think they're sitting on heavenly thrones of their own making. Their sacrilege has brought an infestation of demons upon this land. I will smite them all down, one by one, with my bountiful spirit, the good book, and a gun.
Wow. Okay. Annie Pickens, you have that act to follow now.
Well, we're the same person, so it's okay. Ron Blessing and I are the same person. So everything you just said, that was mine. You're welcome. So I am playing Granny Woman, Annie Pickens, and I am a powerful woman who has learned at the feet of her grandmothers and has a very good connection with the dead and with the spirits who are here to guide us, by gum, and we should be listening to them.
Okay. All right, then.
Well, I don't know what they've got so much to say about. I mean, they died.
Do not make me hit you upside the head with my stick.
I'm going to cast Smite on that stick.
Wow. Okay.
You're only shooting yourself in the foot. I mean.
Now, LMA is here, and she's like, all right, are you guys done bickering together? Because I got something for you guys to do.
I can bicker some
just
more.
Shut up for a second. All right. I got 9 kids to take care of. I don't have time for this kind of craziness.
It's just 4 more.
LMA, I'm going to let you speak to me that way because there's nothing more holy than a mother. But I would advise you to put a little more respect on that tongue.
All right. Well, you how about you respecting me, Zilla Rude? I go to work every day at the textile mill. I almost got my arm pulled off the other day. Have you done that? I didn't think so.
I haven't tried to pull your arm off.
All right. Well, just listen up. All right. As far as I know, there ain't no way to get rid of the black. The Faithful is the exception, but who the hell knows what kind of perverted spells they're using over there?
Yeah,
all I'm saying is that there's this town out there. It's at the foot of the Sootstone Mountains in this valley. It's been left alone by the big boys for the most part, except now it's sort of, recently it's been sort of, they've been breaking apart because they got nothing. There used to be farmers out there, but the Blatt sort of took care of that and ruined their crops. And now more and more people were going to the textile mills and the mines and working for the big boys industry. But this town in recent month or so has found a way to deal with the blight. I don't know how they're doing it. I think it's some kind of trick. There ain't no way they're just scrubbing blight away like it's some miracle sucking from some flim-flam, man. So, blight's like those rings around the bathtub you can't get off. You know those rings? I mean, no matter how hard you scrub, it's not coming off. So just watch out. What I'm saying is I need you to go over there and I need to find out how they're doing it. Because I'll tell you, if they got a way to get rid of the blight, maybe they got a way to get rid of the otherness.
The rings around the tub?
The Blight.
Oh,
The Blight Jubilee. At Hollow Oak. That town in the Sootstone. Are you listening to me at all?
yes.
Okay. All right. So, a month ago, Hollow Oak was on the verge of collapsing, like I said. Blight had destroyed their crops. The last of them were finally ready to give up and go to work for the big boys. But now the town has turned around. Everybody's back to farming. I hear they're happy over there. Happy. Can you believe that? I can't even imagine it. My
Well,
point
they
is,
must be reading the good book then.
well, maybe so, Zillarude. Maybe so. But the point is, the big boys are probably just as curious to know what's going on over there as we are, and they aren't going to be nice about it when they try to find out.
Well,
Then there's the Fae. Rumor is that a pixie's been flitting around there. People are seeing fireflies playing tricks on people. I don't know what's going on. What are they doing out there? Seems like that's an indication that the Fae are involved in this somehow. And if they are, you can bet there's going to be a punchline, and the town is going to be the butt of the joke.
That's a bad thing. Like the Fae, like they hide in smokestacks and they got these bulbous noses and they peek out and they throw soot on you. Oh, they're the worst.
Yes, they are, Jubilee. Anyway, it's messy out there, and I really want to know what's going on. And I think that maybe the town is ripe for maybe us to come in and like get some allies, because they're on the verge of collapse as it is. And if they don't want to go for the big boys, maybe we can give them some kind of an alternative. You know? I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I like alternatives.
Okay.
well, I'm all about working against the big boys, so I'm in.
Well, if them folks is happy, I want to go find and see what's making them happy.
Right.
Like if
me
they found
too.
some sort of mushroom, or if they're living in the sunshine every day, I want to go soak up some sunshine. So I at least,
I'm just
get
here
some
to get the
dappled
tough
light on my
stains out.
face. Yeah.
What was that, Jubilee?
I say I'm just here to get the tough stains out. So yeah.
Sure. The bathtub stains, the black. They managed to do it somehow. I don't know how, but
I bet it's vinegar, soap, and snake venom.
Most of my
That's
life,
witch
I haven't
man.
even had a bathtub.
I'm going to try
We
that.
know.
I'm going to try that combination, Jubilee, on my bathtub. But if that works for the black, great. But I need you to find out. That's all I'm asking. So she tells you where it is. It's at the foot of the Sootstone Mountains, hidden, nestled into a valley. It's been there for as long as people can remember. The time in the Holler is weird. People just don't remember how long things have been and how long they've been in the Holler and stuck here. And it's easy to forget that stuff because, again, it's all sort of based on tales and passed along from mouth to mouth and stuff like that. So she's like, yeah, this is where you go. And I can't provide you anything. So, good luck. And you guys have managed to procure yourself a vehicle, a jalopy. It's not a very fancy jalopy, but it's a jalopy. And so it won't take you but a couple days to get down there from where you are. So I'll let you guys decide I assume you want to go, but is there anything you want to do on the way? Because as we go, you'll probably get there, but it's up to you what you want to do. And
I'm driving. I get the jalopy. What?
Okay.
I can do it.
Sure.
That's fine. I never get to drive. It's fine.
You can sit on my lap, honey. You can sit on my
All right.
lap.
Maybe
I'll teach you how
I'll
to-
steer. Just let me steer
Okay.
around the curves and I'll be happy.
Okay, or you can do that. You can shift for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I like that too.
Yeah, cool.
okay, good.
Well, if this
Excellent.
means I get the back seat to myself, I'm pretty happy.
You ain't getting the back seat to yourself.
Well, you can sit shotgun.
No, I think at some point Percy's going to need to move off of Annie's lap. Not to mention Erastus would
Saying
not
I'm
like
old?
it if somebody got too close to him.
Erastus is Lizilla's snake, by the way.
Copperhead.
Copperhead snake. It's around her. It's around her
It's
neck.
just a friend of hers.
That's right. We talk.
It's fine.
So are you sitting in the back then? Then I probably want that shotgun.
I sure am sitting in the back.
Shotgun it is.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. If you get lonely up there, I can just send Erastus up and he can whisper sweet nothings right into your ear.
Wow.
So what do we need to do before we get in this jalopy?
Yeah, is there anything you guys want to do before or during your trip? Trip is uneventful otherwise.
I am generally not in favor of pre-planning or considering actions.
All right,
So
let's go.
And by uneventful, I mean that what I want Annie to do, well, let's see. Because Percy's on her lap trying to steer around the corners.
Just
Annie,
around the
Or
curve.
team purse?
go ahead and both of you make a driving roll -3.
and we'll take the worst.
No, I'm radically unskilled.
So am I.
Yeah.
So -5.
Okay, no, let's make it
-5.
-2. So you're -4 for Percy.
Ooh, so close to a critical fail. I did not pass that fail. I did not pass that. I did not at all.
I
Percy,
got a 10.
you
Oh,
did.
See?
I sure did. I aced
Oh
my
wow!
wild die.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out to be starts out to be a disaster. It's ridiculous. Percy is on Annie's lap. Annie's letting him be there. Annie is trying to control this car, and things are going badly. You guys are going up some sort of mountainside, just like west of the Corncob Gap, and you almost drive off the edge because Annie's trying to control the car, and then she finally just gives up and lets Percy take over.
Well, the thing is, nobody's ever taught me how to drive. I just thought it would be fun to drive a jalopy. I mean, these things seem pretty interesting.
Yeah.
They are interesting. However, the roads are questionable. There's not guardrails in the holler as
Guardrails.
such.
And I just
So-
want to say, as a side, Boof, this is real life stories for Boof.
But Percy pulls this out, and it actually looks like quite the driver. Getting up like this mountainside that you're on your way to the valley, right?
I've
It's
still got
past.
that passenger door like partway open. So if we, pitch off the side, I can bail out.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jubilee's got the door half open.
Yeah.
Annie's
Not that I
kind of
don't trust you guys, but
freaking out. Percy's taking over. Zilla, are you just shaking your head with disapproval in the back?
Zilla hasn't budged. She just kind of sits back there calmly and petting Erastus with one finger, whose head just happens to be right next to hers most of the time.
Of course.
And she's just got this half grin on her face as all this is happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Percy,
I'm
I think they call this a clutch, so I don't know. I'm going to push it in and see how it goes. All right,
Well, push it in. I'm gonna cut some donuts. I want to see if I can make it slide.
let's do this,
Little bit.
kid. It's
from
going to
side
be great.
side. Just for a minute. Just a few
Okay.
donuts, and then we go on down the mountain.
It's an impressive
To get a feel for
display.
it. To get a feel for it.
Yeah, kick up some dust.
4 wheels. Who knew that was a thing? Crazy.
It is impressive, and once you get close to Hollow Oak, the road that you're traveling on sort of becomes overgrown. So at some point, you start to have to stop because there doesn't seem to be a road directly into the town.
thank goodness.
The town seems to be pretty isolated, but as you get closer to it, you can tell you're getting closer to it because the Sootstone Mountains are there's a lot of blight around. Like it's just this haze of dark, cloudy gook that's just all around the holler. It's everywhere. And as you get closer, and you're sort of approaching dusk as you arrive, but as you get closer,
Best time of year, day,
the
night.
the sky seems to open up, and you can start to see sort of that purple, nighttime, and the stars starting to peek through. This is not something you see often in the holler, is these stars that are coming through. And as you get really close, dusk is coming down, and those stars are twinkling. You see the moon out there, and it is freer breathing air than you have breathed in a long, long time. So
sure, it seems nice, but if it means there's Fae around, it's not worth it. Their little stubby faces and their
Darrell, go ahead and take a Benny. So yeah, as you get closer, and you'll have to kind of stop the car, and then hoof it on the way in. And I assume, do you do that? Anything you want to do before you go into the town proper? Okay.
Again,
Cool.
forethought and planning, not
Fair
my
enough.
strong suit.
Curiosity is a
Zilla
thing.
doesn't need forethought and planning.
Mhm.
She'll know exactly what to do when the time arrives.
Okay.
I
All
got
right.
my bones.
So as you get closer, the town you see the lights of the town. There's a few, there's obviously natural light, but there's artificial light as well, and they have those kind of amenities there, and everybody seems real excited about something. But the centerpiece fixture of the town, what you see there, it's a very small town. Like it's mainly just like a square block. And there's a whole bunch of farmland around it. So you're walking through some farmland and some forest to get there. But the main centerpiece is this big church in the middle of town. And what looks to be a new sign, pretty new, that says the Good Times Revival Church on the front of it. People
Now,
are walking
is this
around
the-
and seeing people are filtering into the church. But go ahead, Zilla.
Now, is this the right kind of church?
That's hard to say until you actually hear what they have to say, I suppose.
It
Well,
says good times.
I'll say
Zilla's
this is,
going to feel the need to investigate this church.
this is what I would call a mixed message, because good time sounds good, but church not so much. So the two together, I'm not sure how to feel.
You
Watch
could
your
use a
tongue
little
there,
sanctifying Jubilee. You could be sanctified just a little bit, just a little.
Well,
You know, if you
I've heard they do it different ways. I don't know. It might.
if
Depends
you
on how
have
sanctified you get.
Jubilee, if you have venom coursing through your veins, that is kind of a cleansing when it's taken back out. And as Zilla says that, Erastus kind of does the.
Yeah. It's a cleansing if it stays in too, Jubilee. Just be careful now.
Ron, take a Benny for that.
I drove a jalopy, having never seen one before, and I get 0 bennies.
Zero
Whatever.
so far.
I drove it in.
Because you mention it, 0 for you.
You started with 3. You got the 3 you came in with.
I
That's
have
right.
4, so I gave myself a Benny. That's
You
right.
don't only get to Benny if you drive us off the cliff and kill us all. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
gotta
it's
try
not-
it.
it
For the
would've been
record-
the shortest play ever.
For the record, Boof is a patron, so she should have an extra Benny if she hasn't used it yet this month.
No, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
And that is
So-
why Ron is my favorite person.
So as you arrive, Ron, it looks like Zilla is going directly to the church.
Yeah, she's
Um,
walking toward the church with purpose.
And as you
I have never
walk,
found a church that has God in it.
wow. Okay, I'll give you a Benny for that one. So as you're walking into town, you're sort of greeting people, not like suspiciously, but just people who are excited to see you. It's like, oh, have you come in to join the church? Like a lot of people are coming into town lately because of the blight, the blight being gone, and Reverend Taylor, and we're having a sermon tonight. If you want to join in. So people are actually coming up to all of you doing that, and people are excited. There's a sort of optimism in the air. It's really kind of weird. Tell me
not
more
used to
about
this feeling.
tell me more about the word preached in these in this church.
Oh, well, Reverend Taylor, he he's new to town. He came in a month ago, but he's made a huge impact on the town, and he's going to do a sermon tonight. You don't want to miss it. When he talks, you never want to miss what he has to say. What's your name, stranger?
Oh, my name is Zilla Rude. I would
Oh,
love
thank
to meet the Reverend if he's available.
Well, you might be able to say hi to him after a sermon.
Well, I wouldn't miss that.
All right. Well, maybe we'll see you there then. And this woman who she's got.
You will not be able to miss me.
She's got this really silent husband who just nods and tips his hat, and they go off toward the church.
Yeah, I'll look for a rougher customer and be like, "Hey, is this town got a honky tonk joint? Some place with a little bit of shine and maybe some gritty dirt banding?"
So yeah, you find a guy who looks a little bit not as enthused as the others, and he's like, we don't got no honky tonk joint around here. We got shine, but we got no joint.
You got
It's been a
shine,
little
but no
bit
place to
weird over the
drink it?
last month or so.
You got shine, but no place to drink it. No place to play.
No, the Reverend. He's real strict about that stuff. It sucks.
I'm shocked.
I don't like people who are strict about stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go to this sermon because I tell you what, this is real. This is real, and he did it. So I'm not looking away from that. I'll tell you that.
How do you know he did it?
Well, he came and it happened.
What is it he did?
He got rid of the blight.
Yeah, what did he do? Did he just come and puff on it and blow it away like clouds, or did he like wave his arms and it parted like
look?
How did he do it?
I'm as skeptical as the next guy, and I don't know how he did it, but he just did it. He came in. He says he's got the word of God, and the God gave him a gift, and this is the result. He says he's going to spread it all around the holler. He's going to talk about it tonight.
Well, I don't know if you're as skeptical as the next guy, because I'm the next guy, and I'm pretty skeptical.
Well, it's up to you, stranger. If you want some shine later, we're going to have a hollering after this is over, and you come on over, and I'll get you some shine.
Now we're talking.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do? Some of you can step away and do whatever you want. You can go into the church. You can split up.
I think that clearly there's some activity happening in this church. So
Yeah.
Yes. Is there anybody not
sit in the back
going into the church?
Go ahead and roll notice.
Yeah,
well, if I was on any other game, I would have notice +2. So,
but not in this game, apparently.
Ooh, but I do have a D6. I like a D6. All right, 5.
Okay. You're looking around, Annie, and you're seeing most people coming in. They're dressed in their Sunday best. Some of the kids are dressed up too, and you got as best they can in a farming community in the middle of nowhere, self-sustaining in the holler, which means not very great, but they're doing their best. And what you see is one person who's sort of out on the outskirts of town, sort of next to a building somewhere, and she's down in the mud, kneeling in the mud, and she doesn't seem to be going to the church.
All right, so I'm not going to go over there. I'm going to go with everybody. I assume everybody's going to the church, so I'll go with that with them. But I will be talking to her after we are.
Okay, so you make a note of it.
So when Zilla goes in the church, she's going to take special attention to anything depicted in stained glass or sculptures. She wants to know what's behind the pulpit, and she's going to be watching the behavior.
What kind of church do you think this is?
I'm saying
it's got
there.
walls.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's not so much stained glass because they just don't have the money for it. They don't. I mean, it's not if it was a company church, then you'd maybe see stained glass. But otherwise, this is sort of homegrown, and it seems to you. Go ahead and roll notice, Zilla.
5.
Okay, so it seems to you that this church has been around, has been, here for a while, but it seems like it's more dilapidated than it should be, but recently sort of revived. So it looks like it's recently been repaired. There's new wood up here and the new sign out front and new little fabric things across his pulpit and stuff like that. And so you can tell that it's been recently revived.
So Zilla's going to approach one of the parishioners that's in here because people have been going in and out of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just going to say, "Oh, pardon me. What happened to the last preacher that was here?"
Oh, well, it's kind of a sad story. He tried his best, and he was doing fine, but the church was pretty much all abandoned by about a month, 5 weeks ago or so. And this fella, Reverend Taylor, you're going to see him here soon. He just came in. He just came into town with a soapbox. That was all he had, and he was wearing his preacher outfit, and he just started talking. Nobody was listening to him at first, But then he just started talking about like the blat's going to go away. He's here to remove the blat from our town. And nobody believed it. Everybody just laughed it off. But after a few days, it actually started to happen. And so it's a sad story. Like our old preacher, he was just kind of ousted, it was just kind of like he wasn't doing anything. Reverend Taylor was actually, making promises that he was keeping. And all of a sudden it just turned into what this was, I don't feel good about it, but hey, it's clear skies out there right now.
So where is the old preacher, and what was his name?
The old preacher was named. Hold on, I'm going to use the table. I got tables for this. Tim has in his brilliance made folks generator tables in the Holler source book. So
Love it.
I know, right? So I'm going to use one of those. I'm almost there. Okay. So I've got A6. And then Roderick Crump was his name.
All right.
And where he went, he left town.
He sounded like a bad preacher. No way. Name like that. I won't want to listen to nobody named Crump all day.
I knew some Crumps back in the day. They were not kind.
Not good people. Nope.
No, he was a very nice man. They all
Very nice man in comparison to who?
I don't know.
The boss man?
Well,
what are they called?
You mean the big boys?
Big boys?
Man,
yeah.
No, that's the big boys. You don't want to mention their names around here. You get in trouble for that kind of thing.
Oh, Annie, everybody's nicer than them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Depends on your perspective.
So things are starting to settle down. It seems like things are about to start. Everybody's sort of getting their seats and all that stuff. And anything else you guys want to do before the Reverend takes the pulpit?
Well, I'm definitely sitting somewhere far away from Zilla.
Okay.
And Zilla's... Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I want to sneak around to the back, Tracy, while they going in there and getting their preaching, and see if I can see if there's like a back window or anything, a back part of the church, a back door or something. I might be able to get in and do a little snooping on the preacher quarters.
So you're staying outside, Percy?
I'm staying out. I mean, I'm hoping I get to hear the sermon through the window or anything.
Sure.
I want to sneak around to the back, and while they in there and everybody's in there listening and see what I can find. Yeah.
So
I am making a point of complimenting any little girl that's got a new bonnet or a pretty ribbon in her hair, and talking up the kids.
Oh, okay.
Because they get a little restless during the sermons.
Sure.
So Zilla is going to position herself so that she can hear the sermon well, but she also wants to watch how the people react, and to take some attention off of her directly. She's going to put some attention on Erastus and let the kids pet the snake.
It's a copperhead.
Okay. How generous of you.
Yeah.
He's so nice of you.
Copperhead. He's a copperhead, but he is completely harmless to anyone of as pure as a child.
Sure.
I am not pure as a
me
child.
so much.
Annie, what are you doing? You're what did you say?
Interacting with the kids.
Interacting with the kids.
Many ribbons, showing them my stick.
Jubilee, you're just staying out of Zilla's way.
I'm far away from the snake and the Zilla, like sitting in the back like like any bad kid should. And kind of looking around to see if there's anyone interesting out here, but that's it. Not making a big deal of it.
Cool. So lots is going to go on here. There's lots to go on. But first, Reverend Taylor takes the stage. And he looks like he just has this presence about him. He just has this air, this way of carrying himself that gets attention. He's got, a priest's outfit on, and he's sort of older. No, not too old. Maybe in his, I don't know, maybe in his 40s, maybe his late 30s, somewhere in
That's
there.
pretty old.
His hair is sort of nicely slicked back, and he's got an imposing air about him. And people are, they're settling in, but they're also like, whispering and sort of in awe kind of thing. It's kind of strange. Not completely strange, but kind of strange. So all of you hear this. Like, Percy, you'll hear it through the windows or whatever, and we're going to get to you in a minute.
Oh, sure.
Friends, when I see the happy faces looking back at me tonight, I am just delighted. I remember not a month ago when I arrived in this town, just a humble preacher with a soapbox, and Hollow Oak was on the very brink. Yes, the brink of failure. Folks heeding the call of the big boys and their mines and their mills, and people are just like booing and, doing that, disapproving grunts and stuff like that. Hope gone. I saw it with my own eyes. The crops wouldn't grow, the goats and pigs on the ranches stunted, unable to feed even a small family, let alone 50 of them. The blight thick as molasses in the air. Why, I couldn't even make out clearly the faces of people who were standing just a few feet across from me because of the filth that was so thick between us. The town of Hollow Oak was doomed. And then it happened. God began listening to my prayers, answered them. I had a vision. He told me, I am part of your community. I can lead you all to salvation through my revival of this old church, now called the Good Times Revival Church, that we, you and I, have rejuvenated. We can wipe this scourge of smoke and filth from the earth, free the Holler from this cage of horror, and live as God intended us to. Free people, beautiful mountains, clean air. It's my destiny as the founder and father of the Good Times Revival Church to bring back hope and happiness to not only this community, but to everybody. And then the crowd sort of erupts in cheers and hallelujahs and all that stuff going on. And he holds his hands up. He's like, but it's not easy. You can see the result of my good works in the air you breathe today. But it's hard work. So I know what you're asking. How can you help? Well, I am but a humble servant of God. I do these works out of the goodness of my heart. But in order to truly free the Holler, we need to band together. We need to spread our message of love and hope beyond the borders of the small town of Hollow Oak. It's not about what I need. It's about what you need, what your church needs. We need to spread the word, and we need to grow our numbers. We need to choke the big boys out with our message of healing and faith. And then you guys all see from the sides of the church, people starting to bring out the collection plates. And in order to do that, it's a sad fact of life, but we need resources. The church, your church, needs help. I need your script. I need any trinket that has value to those who don't yet understand that love is the greatest currency. I'm sad to say even your grandmother's old engagement ring that's sitting in that drawer of yours at home. It's a beautiful heirloom, young man. And he's pointing at you, Percy. But what good is it doing anybody just sitting there? Make it work for us. Heck, if you have some of that strange cash money from beyond the otherness, I'll take that too. Spreading our message of love is the only way we can clear the land of this horrific blight that threatens our brothers and sisters around the Holler every day. And to spread that message, we need your donations. Give freely, my friends. Give easily and give freely. And people are starting to put in stuff in the collection plate. Give more than you can afford. Because I promise you, it will come back to you tenfold. Now, go in peace. Do your good works. Spread the message of God and the teachings of the Good Times Revival Church. If your neighbor isn't a member of our congregation, bring him on over time. If your youth have not signed up for our missionary program, I want you to sit them down and talk to them. I'm talking to you, young man. We need young people with bright eyes to go out into the holler and spread our word. But we are the only true answer. Go forth and spread the message, and I promise you, the blight will be no more. Just as it is no more here in Hollow Oak. The blight, the otherness, the toxic industry, the death that comes of it, and the big boys. We will be free of all of them forever. God bless you, my friends. God bless you. And then there's, cheers and hallelujahs and the whole 9 yards from everybody in the church. Now I'll explain what you guys see while you're watching this.
I would like to say to the little children, I see the gums a flapping, but the poops a splatting.
Wow. All right, I'll give you another Benny for that.
I'm just sinking down in my chair, hoping the collection plate goes by me.
People are bumping your shoulder and saying,
Yeah.
Come on, put it in. You're going to get it back 10, preacher said.
Yeah, if they prompt me, I'll actually put a bullet in the collection plate.
So, Annie is paying attention to the children. And one thing that you see, Annie, is there is a particular child. She's not around you, but she's out she's sort of wandering around. Like she's not in one place. She's not sitting down. She's sort of in the back of the church, and then she's sort of wandering down the side and with the windowsill and stuff like that. And she's sort of and fist pumping with every hallelujah that's expressed. And she's very obviously very excited, and she's not only looking at the preacher, but looking at all the parishioners, and just is so, you can just tell she's just thrilled to see how happy everybody is. However, go ahead and roll notice, Annie Pickens. Uh-oh. We can't hear you, Boof.
I have all the bennies. Got a 4.
There you go.
And then
Okay.
I re-rolled for a Benny, and now I have an 8.
Oh, so you got an 8 on your notice roll.
I did.
Outstanding. So there is something about this child. I mean, children. You've delivered a whole bunch of children. You're a granny woman who's sort of this is part of what you do. And there is something about her. She looks about 3 years old, but there's something about her that belies an undertone of deep sadness and worry. Like, she's very excited to be here, but there's something about her. Meanwhile, Zilla, you're what was it you're doing? Ron, I have it written down.
I'm watching all the parishioners, just kind of
Watching the
keeping an eye
parishioners.
on that.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll notice.
Okay. And by the way, she does pass the plate with no shame. She's just like,
Okay.
I've got a 5 again.
Okay. So one thing you notice is, your background. This you company churches, the regular church system, even if it's not a company preacher who's sort of spouting the good work of being a good worker and doing what the big boys say and espousing all that kind of stuff to keep people in line, right? You know all that. But you're also sort of familiar with, well, if it's not obvious to you already, he's clearly angling for, donations, whether he's on the level or not. Okay, so Ron, you were watching the parishioners, is that right?
That's right. Just want to see how they're reacting and kind of seeing if any. Basically, I want to see if any hoodoo is going on.
Okay, so go ahead and roll notice.
All right, got a 5.
Okay, so you're familiar with the company churches and this sort of like the preachers who preach good hard work, trying to basically assist in brainwashing the population to go work for the big boys industry and all that stuff. And you're familiar with that kind of situation. This is obviously not that, but it's obvious also that the parishioners are particularly enthralled with this guy. And there may, I don't know, you can't put your finger on it, but there may be something else about this guy. Maybe not. I mean, maybe he's just that. He is very charming. He's very persuasive, and he's obviously been doing this a while with them, and so. But he's gotten under their skins in the last month or so, to the point where, they're all avid followers, and maybe it's because blight, but maybe there's something else going on too. Just something from something that speaks to you in a faith-based way, says something is not maybe quite right here.
All right. Do I need to make any kind of an occult roll to get any more out of that, or am I good?
Maybe if you might want, you feel like you might need to talk to him, get a little closer to him, and then
that's going to be happening.
Okay, so hold that thought. Meanwhile, Jubilee. So you put your bullet in the collection plate. And you got a couple of weird looks, but one person is just like,
Well, I'm mildly horrified, but hey.
But you're sort of in the back, among sort of the people who sit in the back in these kinds of situations, right? And so go ahead and roll notice.
Ooh, notice. Oh, not a crit fail. 4.
Okay. So you notice one woman.
Whoa, a woman, you say?
Yes, a woman, I say.
Well, of course I would notice that.
She is there, and she's sort of got this, she's watching, but she's not participating. So she's not hallelujah, not, yelling and screaming and doing that kind of stuff.
I like her already.
But she's very quiet, and she's got the weird sort of thin smile on her face, like she's just taking in what's going on there. She also looks particularly sort of clean for someone who lives in the Holler. Just something about her, right?
Continues to go downhill.
Right? And she's obviously sort of scanning the crowd. She listens intently to the preacher, but she's also scanning the crowd and observing what's going on.
Okay.
So that comes to your attention.
Yeah, so I'll kind of keep observing her. This will be our cat and mouse game of looks.
I'm not looking at you. Don't look at me.
Oh, I'm looking at her.
Okay.
And if she looks too long, I'll wink.
Yeah, that prompts immediate not looking at you anymore. Meanwhile, Percy Wade Bunch, you're inside. You're hearing the sermon. Do you listen to it all, or are you going into the back before while it's going on?
No, I was using the sermon as everybody being distracted, focused on it, to go around back and try to get in there, but I could hear it coming through. And when he mentioned those heirlooms, I got real interested because I feel like he might have a drawer, a cabinet or two full of stuff back there, and I might want to see what he's got if I can get in.
And
He's got
yeah,
some
I
of the
forgot.
office
I
ones.
mentioned Mercy during the thing, but it was actually another kid that he was motioning toward.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're interested. Like, okay, well, this is now this is interesting. And first of all, go ahead and roll notice -2.
All right. I'm gonna spend a Benny.
Okay.
And got an ace, another ace, 14.
Okay. So, not only do you spot a door that feels like, okay, that's the door. That's the door to his probably his antechamber or where his office or whatever it is that wherever he spent time. You feel like that's, and like something cues you, like you see through the sort of free window that there's another preacher's outfit in a closet somewhere or something like that, and it's in dim lighting, but it's there. In addition to that, you also see what you would swear to be a firefly, just out of the corner of your eye at first, but with a 14, you get a closer look at this thing, and it's not a firefly at all. It's actually a little flying person, with wings and everything, and she does glow, and she's out there sort of looking into the windows, sort of watching what's going on. She doesn't stay in one place for very long. She's trying to disguise herself as a firefly, but she's obviously there, and it's this little tiny pixie. You've heard about these things, that is running around and flitting around the church and listening to the sermon and watching what's going on. So let's start with what you do. What do you do, Percy Ray, while the sermon is going on and with what you're seeing?
Oh, Lord, Tracy, you gave me a conundrum. I want to get in there and steal some stuff and get that other preacher's outfit and put it on, so maybe I can be a dueling preacher with him at a opportune moment. But if I see it, I'm gonna have to run and chase that pixie first. I want to catch it. I want to catch it, put it in a jar.
Wow. So you're going to end the sermon chasing the pixie, and unless you do real, and then maybe you can do both. But go ahead and roll athletics, and this will be opposed.
Sure. I'm good at climbing trees.
They've got little tiny feet.
I aced it.
Little tiny voices that go peep peep peep.
Oh, I just rolled a 20. That's all.
20.
Yeah, I'm a good pixie catcher. I catch.
All right, but
I ain't never been a pixie I can't catch.
She has a D10 athletics, by the way.
Oh.
Had the lid of the jar pre-drilled with holes and everything.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
Everyone knows pixies don't breathe.
I got some bugs in there ready for her to eat. I don't know if pixies eat bugs.
What is
that's what
20?
Yes.
20.
If I'm lying, I'm down. I got 20.
She's going to spend a penny just to see if she can do any better. She did not do it better. So you managed to sneak up on this pixie, and she doesn't realize that you're there. This is it's tricky, really hard to do, but you managed to do it, Percy Ray, and you managed to capture her. Like, what do you have to capture her with?
I mean, I'll spend a Benny to have a jar with holes poked in it, and then some little roly-poly bugs in the bottom, because I figure she might eat them. It probably just make her angry, but
Okay, awesome.
That's my version of pixie food.
And go ahead. Okay, yeah. So spend that Benny, and
all right.
I'm gonna say you caught her in the jar, like. Thoop. This is get me out, let me out. She's sort of freaking out in there. Her little wings are going, and she's glows, and she's freaking out in there.
So I just ask her, like, can you talk? You look like somebody. Can you talk like somebody? Are you somebody?
Well, she's a little face. She's got a little Asian.
What's that, Tracy? I
You're
couldn't hear
trying.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Oh, certainly.
You're
All
trying
right.
to be friendly, right? You're trying to like calm her down, or are you being? What's the general like attempt here?
Well, my general attempt is like I'm so enthused. I don't know if I have control of my facilities and faculties completely, but I'm just trying to make some sort of connection just because I'm so excited to have this thing and have it in the jar. And so I'm just trying to like, are you somebody? I've heard of things like you, and so I don't know that I have a persuasive strategy.
Yeah,
but
if
I'm
she
just
doesn't answer immediately, just shake it. That'll probably get an answer.
exactly. And I failed that persuasion roll, and I'm already down to like a Benny. So I'm just gonna put on the brakes.
Okay, that's
Right
fair.
there. So yeah,
You
So
can't
you-
get them if you don't spend them, Tim. You gotta
I
spend
know,
those
I
bennies
know.
to get them back.
All right, so you failed a persuasion roll, and she is obviously a little she's just freaked to have been captured. Like this is
Yeah.
completely out of her realm of experience, and she's not listening to you. She's not reacting to you. She sort of just wants out, and with that, she actually is going to cast something on you.
Oh, okay.
So
Here's
let's
hoping it's
see.
good. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be good.
No, I think
Because you
it's
caught
she's gonna boost my
Boost
attribute or
your-
something. Boost my
Okay.
persuasion. Boost my charm.
So she has some powers. All right, so let's see. Let's see I've got a power card here to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay, you have to make a spirit roll at -2.
Well, failed it.
Failed it. Okay,
I sure did.
all right. You fall asleep.
So I dropped the jar. The jar cracked, and I just bring the jar down close to my heart. So I can have a little nap with the pixie jar. I don't want the jar to crack.
Okay, so you don't want the jar to crack.
No,
So
I might not be able
go
to.
ahead and roll athletics -2.
I'm just cradling it. I'm just going to
Sure.
4.
With a -2?
Mhm.
Okay. So you cradle the jar. It does not crack as far as you know, but you do sort of fall asleep. When you wake up, it is, I'm going to just say for narrative effect, because she had to cast this through a jar of glass and stuff like that, that it doesn't last very long. So you wake up sort of, you feel like the Reverend is wrapping up his sermon, but the jar is there. It's not cracked open, but the top has been unscrewed and she's gone.
Son of a
Fickle.
cuss. Okay.
Fickle.
Please tell me that this is all happening inside the Reverend's office.
It was outside.
It was outside.
No.
But the Reverend seems to be wrapping up. It's likely he might stay with his parishioners for a while. So if you still want to try to get in there, you can. But you know that time is of the essence.
No, I'm just excited to tell Jubilee and Annie and Zilla about the pixie I caught. Nobody gonna believe me now. It's gonna be just like the bear story. I have to do my mom and daddy. All these miraculous things happen to me, and like I have no evidence.
I believe you.
But I'll still add a new verse to the Percy Ray Bunch song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Who's fast with jar glass? Catch a tiny lass. Percy Ray Bunch.
Wow.
We've got like 17 verses of these now.
I know.
Already? Good gravy.
Oh yeah. Well, we went through a whole plot point campaign. Tim, go ahead and take a Benny for this
Awesome.
whole interaction with the pixie, and
We're gonna need that, Tim.
and so yeah, you're leaving well enough alone. You're not going to try to break into his little office there.
Not yet.
That was
And
how you're rolling.
back inside the church, the sermon is wrapped up. the parishioners are sort of standing up, and they all want to kind of get to talking to Reverend Taylor, and he sort of is going through the crowd and glad handing everybody. Zilla, you can get up to him if you like. So let's start with you. So you're going up to him, or are you doing something else first? You muted, Ron?
Just like me.
That's
Ron's
the
smart enough
phrase
to
of
turn it off.
2020. You're muted.
Yes.
Yeah, she's going to go right up to him.
Okay. So you do eventually get up to him. There's a whole lot of, oh, I loved your sermon, preacher. That was great. I can't thank you enough. My farm is producing. We're people are coming back to the town. It's just great. He's like, yes, yes. I'm very glad to have brought this. So it's just we just spread the word. We need to get the word spread. We're going to do this whole holler. And he sort of skillfully wades his way through the crowd, and then he comes up to you. Right. Well, hello there.
Well,
I haven't seen you around before. Who are you?
Well, my name is Zilla Rude, and you're Reverend Taylor.
I am Reverend Jebediah Taylor. It's nice to meet you, Zilla Rude.
Jebediah, that's a good Christian name.
Thank you.
So, I got to ask, what exactly does the Lord charge for a good blight cleaning?
I don't know what you mean.
Well,
I get your point, Zilla Rude. You're worried that I might be taking advantage of some of these people, right?
Well, the thought
I don't want you to worry about that in the slightest, Zilla Rude. Look, in order to spread God's word, we need resources. I mentioned this already, and everybody's sort of on board with it. And you want the blight gone from the holler, right? You want a free holler. Am I right, Zilla Rude?
Well, who wouldn't want that if you wasn't a big boy?
Well, exactly. So we need people to spread the word. We need the resources to do it. We need jalopies. We need all kinds of food and resources so that people can go out and do their thing without having to be beholden to the big boys company system. So that's what the church is all about. That's what we're trying to do. Everybody wants the black gone. Unfortunately, things just don't happen without, resources.
Gotcha. What's my vibe with this guy? What am I getting? You said to remind you of an occult roll later on.
Yes. So go ahead and make that occult roll.
Okay.
And you can also go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Okay. Well, I'm spending a Benny on the occult roll. Just because I feel like I want some answers here. That's better. That's way better. 20.
Okay.
Not to be oh wait, I'm sorry, 22.
Okay. With your 22 on your occult roll, you're watching this guy, and the thing about it is something about him is not right. That's the first thing. With the raise, you're 22. You also get that there's something about him that you're just about his demeanor, about the way he sort of reacts to you or whatever, something speaks to you as he was once a very good man and still is deep down. But there's some sort of evil about him, some sort of something that's haunting him, and it's out of his control.
Okay, and I'm gonna do that persuasion roll now.
Okay.
That's a critical fail.
Nice.
Okay.
Of course it is.
Okay.
Lovely.
So the critical fail, what I'm going to say happens there is that there's parishioners around hearing this conversation, and they're hearing that you're criticizing the reverend.
Let me give you something to key off.
Okay.
She starts talking to him about couldn't help that you've credit for the Lord Reminds me of that story, the pride before the fall. And you could take it from this. That's when I roll the big guy.
Pride before the fall, eh? And then some guy is next to you is like, how dare you question the Reverend? And it becomes a thing now. If you weren't a woman, I would knock your block off. And, the Reverend is sort of suspiciously extricating himself from this whole situation. It's like he's not coming to defend your honor. He's actually sort of wading in and sort of ignoring the fact that some of his parishioners are becoming sort of belligerent against you. Mm-hmm. So, Jubilee, you see this?
But I'm not. No, but I'm not going to go help because I got to go find that woman instead.
Yeah, sure. And
Annie, you take care of herself.
Yeah. And so there's people who are wanting to sort of push you out of the church, get you out of there. They're getting pretty belligerent.
Okay. So she's going to switch into performance mode. Mm-hmm. And she's going to just start. She doesn't need the soapbox. She just seems taller when she starts to talk about the 7 deadly sins. And I don't have enough Bible learning myself, but she talks about the 7 deadly sins and judge not lest he be judged and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And her voice is
certainly helps that I encompass at least 5 of those.
Exactly. Her voice is kind of taking on that commanding tone.
Okay.
And so you're going to get out of a crit fail by yammering.
She kind of wants him to see what she can do.
I see. Mm-hmm.
So
she watched him leave like a coward. Performance.
We'll come back for the burning later.
Awesome.
All right, and I'm going to spend a penny on that. Hang on a moment here.
Come on, crit fail number 2.
Wow, Darrell, you're a jerk.
I am.
Crit fail for you. 9.
9. Okay, so you use your words, in traditional holy roller way, with Erastus sort of around your neck and supporting you in that way, and you actually sort of turn this couple guys around. It's like, are you trying to make a persuasive argument other than to get them to leave you alone?
The persuasive argument is that there's nothing wrong with testing the measure of a man who claims to speak for Jesus.
Awesome. Okay, take a Benny and and you're like, yeah. Hey, I still believe in him. But I'm awfully sorry about.
Well, and that is what you should consider, because you shouldn't be believing in him. You should be believing in who he represents.
Yeah.
Which they have now taken to mean, he represents Jesus. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. He's a God-fearing man.
Hey, I did roll that double one earlier. Yeah.
Okay, but either way, like this guy, he's like, hey, you should come out. We're gonna do a hollering after. Come out and join us. And for those of you, everybody sort of knows what a hollering is, kind of. It's specific to the particular town or the particular people that do it. But in a general sense, it's something that happens in the holler. And people will go out and sort of express themselves, right? And in this case, what you're hearing, Zilla, is that people are sort of competing with each other. It's a good-natured competition, but it's whoever can make either the loudest noise or the most unique noise or whatever, but they do it under firelight after the sun has gone down. And it's sort of, you get the sense of it being a joyful event for them. So you're invited to do that. Meanwhile, let's see. We have Jubilee, who wants to find the mysterious woman, right?
I do.
Okay. So it's not hard to find her. She's there, but she actually, as soon as the sermon is over, she's sort of scanning the crowd, but she seems to want to get out of there.
Sure. Well, I'm in the back, so it's easy to get out.
Okay. So do
yeah.
you want to pursue her then?
Yeah, just as she leaves, I'll leave at the same time, and I'll be like, "Well, hello there, darling. I saw that you got a wandering eye, but I'm a wandering guy. Figured I'd introduce myself. I'm Jubilee Skaggs. Maybe you've heard of me."
I have not. But it's
Ouch.
nice to meet you,
Hey.
Jubilee Skaggs.
You need to get out a little more, but okay, yeah.
Sorry, I have not heard of you. But what do you do? Why should I have heard of you?
Well, I've got my banjo, and I say, I'm known to pluck a few chords. I've written a couple songs.
Ah, I see. Have you lived here long?
Not here at all. I just got into town, heard some weird things were going on, figured I'd poke in and see if it would maybe stir my artistic muse. You know what I mean?
I see. Well, it was nice to meet you, Jubilee Skaggs. So
Well, we're still meeting, right? I don't know if I caught your name, ma'am.
My name is Gertrude.
Well, hello, Gertrude.
I think I've got to go. So,
I think you're looking for something.
Well, that's an interesting take. But thank you for whatever this was. I appreciate it. And a couple of big fellas sort of come up to her by her side, and they sort of, they've got that. And she's like, well, I'll see you later, Jubilee Skaggs.
I like take the banjo out and I'll play myself out. I say, I'm sure you will.
All right, take a penny, Darrell.
And that's how it goes for Darrell in real life.
Sad but true.
So she extricates herself from you with these two guys, and you can tell. First of all, go ahead and roll. Well, I don't want to give you two notice. Go ahead and roll notice. I'll give you two things if you get it.
Woo! I got an 8.
Okay. First
Not
thing,
I notice it, but apparently when the chips are down.
these fellas that are around her, they're obviously armed.
Yeah. They look like agents.
They look like agents. Yes. They don't look like they're trying to be obvious as agents, but they definitely look like they could be Kramerhold agents.
So it seems possible that Ms. Gertrude is working for the big boys.
But it's very likely, yes. And the other thing that tips you off to that is her accent is pretty odd. Like she's trying to hide it, but there's something about it that makes her feel like she's not from the Holler.
So what you're telling me is this is a star-crossed romance, but we're gonna make it work anyway.
That's right. That's what I'm telling you. I was going to say something else, but I forget what it was. But she extricates herself, and these guys go with her. And that's that, unless you want to try to follow.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So we're finally getting to Annie Pickens. So appreciate you all's patience in this crazy, we're slowing down to see what this sermon and the aftermath is like, but there's a lot of exposition here, right? So Annie, what are you doing after the sermon is over?
So, children are the windows between the worlds. So I am asking the kids what they thought of the sermon.
Okay.
I want to see what their, sensory stuff, want to get a feel for what what was going on for them.
Okay. So the kids are a lot of them are kind of going with the flow. They don't know well enough to know better. So they're just like, you should you've got a nice, that staff is pretty neat. You should probably put it in the collection plate, we need to help the church. And so they're doing that kind of thing. And they're talking about the sermon and how nice it is outside and how they can't wait for the Holler in tonight. And are you going to go and stuff like that? But what you really end up the most interesting person you end up talking to is that girl who was sort of wandering the aisles and being all crazy and fascinated and excited and hallelujahing, all that stuff. And she's like, yeah, her name is, she introduces herself as Sally Ruth Marshfield. And she's excited, she's jumping around, or she was, and she's like, I think it's just great. Like, people here, like, it was so bad a month ago, and the town was almost a ghost town. Like, there was nothing here. Like, the big boys don't want it, and they just wanted the people. They just wanted to take away everybody to go into the work for them, And now everything's just so much better, and it's just so exciting, Oh, wow. I just can't believe it.
I understand.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was an interesting sermon.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's, go ahead and roll persuasion.
I'm sure I have that.
I'm sure you do.
I do. Cool. Benny, that. You got a 3. I got a 2.
You got a 2. Okay. So, no persuasion for you?
Ah, crud. I have it. Okay. I got a 5.
Okay. So, the thing that you notice about her, she's like, even if it isn't him, like, what does it matter? Like, isn't it great that everybody has something to rally behind, even if it's not God that's doing it? Like, isn't it so cool that that something's happening to the town? Like, people are happy, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Sally Ruth, I could not agree with you more. I think this is a wonderful thing that's happening in this town. But wouldn't it be nice to know why it's happening to this town? Because then we could support what's actually happening.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to feel good, but let's feel good for and knowing why we're feeling good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know of anybody that might be able to help me figure out who's actually doing it?
Well, come here.
Okay.
Here. Yeah. And she sort of leads you off into a place where you're alone.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Can you keep a secret?"
I keep all the secrets.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I just need somebody to help me because I'm kind of stuck and I'm really scared, and I don't know what is going to happen. And we could lose all of this. We could lose all of this.
Right. Yeah. That'd be horrible to have all of these blessings, right? And then to have it go away. Of course you can trust me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about this? If maybe you could meet me. I mean, you look like a really smart lady. Maybe you could help me. Like, I mean, you're really old and stuff, and you're super wrinkled and all that. But I thought
pretty cool. It's a little leathery, isn't it? That's neat.
Well,
see, you feel that?
It is kind of.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
You have like your little pouch of stuff there, and your cool feathers on your staff. I just think you look really neat. And anyway, you look really smart. So what if maybe we, if you meet me tomorrow, like outside of town, just right there, and I'll take you someplace special.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you, Sally Ruth. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to do the hollering tonight?
I would love to do the hollering tonight. Thank you for inviting me. That's really nice.
You could come with me and we'll all do it together. It'd be great.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll meet some of your friends.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have any friends, really.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, friends they're hard to
I'm
come
sort of
by.
on my own,
Yeah, yeah. The good ones are worth it, but it's hard to find them, right?
Well, I have one friend, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. I look forward to it.
Okay. So anything else you guys want to do before the hollering happens? And do any of you want to participate in the hollering?
I will participate with the children at the Holler, but I do want to talk to the woman who was eating the dirt in the mud.
Okay, we'll get to that. What? Anybody else?
Zilla's going to participate. She wants to gain these people's trust.
Okay. Percy, you wake up after the sermon is over, or near the ending of the sermon. What have you done since that time?
I've been running around looking for that pixie for a good while because I want to get it back. But
Yeah,
then,
that pixie's gone.
yeah, well, I deduced that. It took me a minute, but then I figured it out. And then I.
But that
I run
said,
back-
go ahead and roll notice just for fun.
Why not? I also want to check in with Percy just to see what his perspective was too. But
Yeah,
Did you
I
pass?
failed that roll. I
You
didn't,
failed
I
that
didn't-
roll. Okay. There, that what you're sure of is that pixie would have had to do something real special to open that jar. You tightened down that thing like
as hard
you
as I
cinched it
could.
down real hard
She
with all
took
the
your
muscles
pill
you
bugs,
used
too.
to chop down that tree, but she would have. It would have been real hard for her to get out of it. That's what you know.
I'm gonna run back in amongst the children and with my jar, and I'm gonna say, I had a pixie in here. Y'all ever caught any pixies? Like while Annie's over there as she's winding down her conversation with Sally Ruth, I guess I'll just come in with the jar, all excited, saying I caught a pixie, asking them if they've caught any pixies or they seen any other little strange people like bugs flying around.
And you're going to the other children or the
To the other children, like
Yeah,
where I
awesome,
see where
awesome.
Annie
Okay.
is talking to the kids.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
running over there.
Yeah, you get people excited about it. You get to talk about your adventure and all that stuff, and they're like, really? Where is it? Where'd it go? Let's go find it.
Yeah, let's go find it.
Okay.
It don't like pill bugs. It don't like roly polies.
Yeah, so the scene, and we'll get to what if Jubilee or anybody else is doing anything, but the scene is sort of like everybody's exiting the church, and they sort of live around the church, and there's firelight around, there's some fires, there's some lights in the buildings and stuff like that, and people are sort of out on their stoops or whatever, or just around each other. Everybody's within hearing distance of each other, not necessarily able to see each other, whatever, but that's kind of the atmosphere. And some of the kids are just running around and doing their crazy stuff. Everybody seems joyful. It's pretty awesome, actually. Joyful people. And Jubilee, are you doing anything after your encounter? After your, well, I don't know what we would call it.
Encounter, I think is the right word. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just going to join the Holler in at this point.
Okay.
Show these people how it's done.
Okay. So as it winds down, like you all sort of instructed, like, it's either the loudest holler or the most inventive holler that wins. And when you win, you'll know you won. It's really kind of cool, but we don't want to tell you what happens. So, and that's how Sally describes it. She said, when you win, it's really, really cool. But I don't want to give it away. I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's really cool. So the way we're going to do this mechanically is that you can choose to roll athletics if you want to make the loudest holler you can, or you can choose to roll performance if you want to make a very inventive kind of call that is unique. That's what everybody else around is doing, and so it's up to you guys.
I mean, I should be able to roll folklore because I want to.
Yeah, well, tough. So it's athletics or it's performance. However, with all that said, with the experience in the church and all that stuff, you guys doing freaking awesome. So go ahead, everybody take a Benny.
Oh,
and see, I have no idea how many guys you have, but take one.
I've
have three.
got Jess numbers, so
Yeah, okay. Clearly, I have not
for the
made you
group there.
roll enough. Yes, exactly. But I don't care either. So
And I have 5.
Boof, what are you gonna do? You're gonna roll performance. You're gonna roll athletics.
I am going to roll athletics.
Okay.
Wait, athletics is the loudest?
Yes, you're
Then
trying
I
to go
have
for the loudest holler.
I don't want.
And you should roll it unskilled if you want
should.
to do performance.
So
You got
it's a
5
D4
bennies?
plus 2, right?
D4 -2, kind of the opposite.
That's
of
what I
plus
meant.
2.
That's what I meant. So D4.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do performance instead.
Okay.
'Cause I
What
got all
does it
this.
sound like?
Yeah, what does it sound like? Nice.
And I got a 4. And I
Okay.
will use
So
a Benny
keep in
and try
mind-
to do more than that.
Yeah, the
Yes.
highest wins.
I got a 5. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Okay, it's for the kids. I'm gonna do it again.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a 5.
I mean, this is how I tempt you all to spend bennies.
Boof,
This is how
spend
I-
a Benny for the children.
I did. I spent a penny for the children. Normally don't deal with children at all, but Granny, she sure likes them, so she made me use another Benny. So
So
that
what
was a
did
3
you-
Benny 5.
You got a 5 is what your
With
result
3
is.
bennies.
Unskilled, that's pretty
got a 5.
good.
That is pretty good. So okay.
Oh wait, no, I'm
Making
sorry.
a ruckus.
I forgot the -2.
Okay.
So
So you
three.
three bennies, 3.
Yeah.
Good. That's
Awesome.
a good use.
You're
of
like,
Makes me
time.
want to do another Benny.
I'm making a sound like a monkey, and everyone's like, "What's a monkey?"
Zilla, what are you doing?
So Zilla is, I'm going to go the performance route and do something unique. And it's going to be a prayer that she's had memorized for years in tongues.
Oh, okay.
And she works with the snake while she does it. So it's going to be this performance art with the snake.
Awesome. Performance art with the snake, holy
Look
roller.
forward to your
doing
crit
her
hill.
thing.
Well,
Do we get a sample of these tongues?
no, you
Just
don't.
gonna make us.
That's fair.
Yeah. In your mind, theater of the mind, Darrell.
Here's what it sounds like to me.
You know what? Just because
Like that, but
Boof
more
did,
feminine.
yeah, just because Boof did her call, I'm gonna give you a +2.
Ooh, so you,
So
got a
you
5
actually
after
do
all.
succeed. You got a 5 after all.
That's right. That's how you get extra points, Ron.
Okay. I'm just going to roll the dice.
Yes, roll the dice.
Thank you.
The game
Oh,
system supports that.
There's some faith in that, folks. That's a 22. Suck it.
Wow.
Except for one problem. I rolled the wrong dice. Hang on.
Like, what dice did you roll?
I rolled a 12. Like a dummy.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now I'm going to spend a Benny.
Okay.
If you don't spend 3, there's something wrong with you.
Well, that's a 12, which is not quite as spectacular, but I accept.
12 is pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's not a
Okay.
20, whatever it was. So, yeah,
All right,
there we go.
All right. Percy Ray, what are you doing?
I'm gonna. You can tell me what you think this is, but I'm gonna tell a little story about the bears and the pixie, and I'm gonna tell about how my mama and daddy and my brother, sister, cousin, they all got turned into bears and wandered off by this giant bear. It led them into the otherness. I'm gonna tell them this story, and then I'm gonna say, and I was feeling real low, but then a pixie angel came to me and said, "I see you, Percy Ray Bunch. You cut down that biggest tree in the Great Craggy Mountains, and Percy's just lying. He's just making, and it squealed something into my ear and filled my soul with light. So the bear, and they're gonna go real guttural and real low, and the pixie, right? And I'm gonna tell this little story about him. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to be as guttural and low as I can be, and then as high pitched as I can be. So maybe
Okay.
that's athletics.
I'm thinking performance. Go ahead and roll
Yeah,
performance.
I don't. All right.
Nice
But I'm
try.
gonna give you a +2 for your story.
So that'll get me to 5.
5. Okay. You happy with your 5? I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
I'd like
Got a
to.
12
I'll
over
spin one.
here.
I'll spin one.
Yes, corrupting the souls of the Holler
Nice, it does,
players.
yeah.
Nice.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, so 5. Jubilee, what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna keep it kind of short and repetitive and catchy. So mine's like, woo, 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 and it just kind of, I'll do that kind of over and over and
Okay.
see if
Awesome.
it can catch on.
Yes. Roll performance. I'll give you a +2.
Well, right now that's a 6, and I'm gonna go ahead and spend 1 just to hopefully not get shown up by a weird hissing. No. Color bear. 6.
Six it is. Okay.
And I'm just disturbed by whatever that noise is that Zilla's making, and I'm just like, I just quit after a while. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but.
So Sally's gonna try.
Sally's gonna win. I'm putting all my faith in Sally.
She's practiced a lot. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to spend a penny for Sally. Just because.
Sally deserves all the pennies.
Just because I want to. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sally, poor Sally. She does not do well with the Holler. She's trying, but she's trying to do something like, it's like some sort of half musical, half something. And like the people around know it's Sally. They know it's Sally, and she's already sort of being mocked and stuff like that. And she's like, and she's laughing about it. She's having a great time, but it's terrible. She's like, yours is good, really good. But I don't know, and then at some point after everybody's had their sort of turn and it's sort of like this, it's an impromptu thing. It's not like going in, this really harsh order or anything like that. But people all get their turn to have their voice heard. And what happens at the end, and Sally's just like, wait for it. And people start to do hollers that they've heard throughout the evening. And as the sort of cacophony of hollers sort of waves over the town, it starts to settle into one. Everybody starts mimicking the one. And the one is Zilla's. And
they're all doing like all money pop me.
They're all doing they're all doing
like,
the speaking in tongues, and like some people are doing the snake hisses and stuff like that.
We're gonna summon a demon if we ain't careful.
I'm just saying,
It's like we gonna have like demons crawling all over this place.
This is the worst.
And Sally's just really she's like, well, that's a weird one, but okay. And she mimics it too, and that's like indicates the winner of the hollering. And it's this weird sort of coming together moment of everybody doing it in unison and together and as best they can, and sort of a tribute to the holler that wins, and it's this sort of like to them it feels like, and to you it feels like it's a look what we can do together moment. It's a town. This is what we do. That we're not just a conglomeration of people living in the same area. We're a community, and we support each other. And there's that feeling, not just in the expression of the winning holler, but also just in the event itself. There's that sense of community there, this happiness that happens because it just
I gotta say that's freaking beautiful.
Yeah,
I really love that.
That's awesome.
And that's how it feels. That's how it feels.
It probably sounds terrible because of the tongue.
It does
because of you.
But that's how it feels. It sounds
It's
creepy, but Sally is she's all in on it.
But that concept to me, that's really cool. Is that an official part of the setting?
Well, the Hollerin rules, Hollerin sort of is official part of the setting. I've sort of taken it and made it specific to this town and specific to the way
how they do it.
My way of thinking really cool. is, and so Hollerin is part of it. There's also other little things that people do, like soapboxing and what else, Tim? There's a few others.
Oh yeah, there's a quilting bee. There's something called a heaving. There's something
the heaving.
A carrying, a climbing. There's something called a marrying. There's a shadowing where you have to follow your worst enemy around for a day and watch everything he does in his existence, and then the other person does that too, so you learn more about each other.
Oh, I love that.
A lot of these are detailed in the book, at least as it stands right now. Right? Everything could change, so we don't know.
So as the Hollerin starts to break up, Zilla's gonna approach her cohorts and say, well, that was interesting, but I need to tell you that there is something quite amiss with our Reverend Taylor, and we need to get a little closer to that situation and find out what's going on when he is not surrounded by the flock, as it were.
Speaking of a miss, there's a Miss Gertrude in town. She's clearly working for the big boys, and she's got 2 Kramer Holtz agents with her.
Well, that could be a complication, but I will tell you what I felt in this Reverend is some sort of a pure evil that's out of his control.
Speaking of a pure evil that's out of my control, I just missed catching a pixie by that much and having a pet pixie. It cast a spell on me.
I believe you, honey. I believe you. Well, I want y'all to know that the Hollering is even more beautiful when the spirit world is joining in, and that was a touching, beautiful, awe-inspiring experience right there.
But hell, Percy, why do you got to ruin everything with some story about catching a fairy?
It ain't no story.
Not a fairy, a pixie. What is wrong with you?
It's like a little firefly with like somebody's face. It could look like anybody walking around. It's just about this big. The face.
You had me until you had a little face.
It has a little face on it.
It has a little face.
That's the worst.
Was,
the worst.
How do you know?
That sounds like a tiny demon to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I believe you caught it, Percy.
Did you squash it when you were done catching
it? I'm a demon catcher then. I didn't squash it. I tried to. I want to keep it as a pet, y'all. I ain't had no pet. Every pet I had when I was little came to death by misadventure. And so I just wanted to
waiting this pixie, then I'm all for it. I hope you get her.
I remember that story you told me about the hamster you forgot to take out of your pocket and then you sat down. I wouldn't mind you doing that with this pixie.
Well,
we're going to go looking for the pixie again.
Yeah.
We're going to keep our eye out. We're going to find this pixie.
All right. Talking about that.
So as the Hollering breaks up and people settle down, it's time to go to bed, early to rise. It's a farming community. People are having to go to work tomorrow. That's just the way it is.
Somebody got a porch we can crash on?
Yeah, you absolutely.
Honky-tonk house.
Everybody's sort of happy and whatever. And I mean, there's some suspicion around Zilla, but the thing is, Zilla sort of redeemed herself by winning the Holler. So, you're certainly invited. You guys can stay in on a stoop, or some people will actually invite you into their homes. Whatever. It's crazy.
Well, invited in sure beats a porch. We're Gertrude and her boys.
You don't see them after the sermon is over. She sort of goes away,
Okay.
and the sort of woman that you wanted to talk to, Annie, you don't see her either. But tomorrow comes early, so you'll probably be able to find her more easily in the light of day.
Does the back of the church? And this is to Percy. Does the back of the church serve as a rectory, or are we going to have to find out where this Reverend Taylor lives?
I don't think he lives there. There was some clothes hung up in there, and it looked like he had a little office on the back end there. I don't know if he sleeps in there or not.
You don't think he does, Percy?
Yeah, I don't think he does. We can get in there and get some stuff because he's been shaking everybody down for weeks. So
why don't we stay on track?
All right, that's fine.
Percy, let's talk.
I'm just saying we need to
not get arrested and kicked out before we fix the problem. We can take a look at the sermon's back room when we're done on the way out of town.
Let's just say I kind of want to get my bullet back because I'm afraid that his preaching was prophetic. And since I gave a bullet, I'm going to get 10 back. And with 2 Kramer Holtz agents in town, that's a lot more likely than it was when I first put that in there. So kind of like to hit undo on that. So, yeah.
Well, I got to say the results of whatever evil this guy is doing are beautiful, but the means are what's important in this situation.
Awesome. Awesome, Ron. So town is going to sleep. You guys can do something if you want to. What do you want to do?
Breaking and entering, Percy?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind snooping around in there a little bit.
I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't be.
I am an old lady, I need to find me a mossy space to settle in, get my bones some rest, put my feet up.
And he's going to bed.
Well,
Zilla?
I'm also actually going to, talk with the spirit world a bit, but. No.
Okay.
Zilla,
that thought.
Yeah.
Zilla is trying to come up with a way to find out where Reverend Taylor lives without arousing suspicion.
Okay.
So yeah.
Go ahead. How do you want to do that? How do you want to go about doing that?
As the crowd disperses, these people in this town are going to be talking about the Reverend, and I'm going to wait for any conversation coming up about him and stay within earshot of those conversations and see if they're like, oh, his house is over there, kind of thing. And he's got a mighty fine house or something like that.
Okay.
Wasn't there going to be moonshine after the Hollering too? Sorry, just asking.
Well, if Jubilee went to his new pal's house, yeah. Actually,
sorry, I got a loot instead.
Yeah, exactly. So Ron, go ahead and roll persuasion.
Okay. I'm going to spend a penny again.
Wow.
Love penny spending.
Well, I'm down to 2 now, just so you know, Tracy.
Okay.
So am I.
She still doesn't care.
I failed. I'm not gonna spend another one on it. I've only got 2 left, so I failed.
Okay. So you fail. The failure means you still find out where he lives, but people are kind of suspicious of you. So
again, so you're on a roller coaster with the town population.
Yeah, exactly. You might be being watched, is what I'm saying. So you know where he lives. There's a little town that they've given him, or a little house that they've given him. Not anything real special, but you feel like, well, okay, I can't go over there tonight unless I shake whoever it is that might be following me.
No, now that I know, I'm gonna just do a kind of a daylight thing, and my thought was to buy a fresh loaf of bread and bring that by his place in the morning. As an opportunity to break bread together and have a conversation.
It's nice. Are you going to spell that bread so he tells us all of his dirty deeds, or no?
I that's not a thing I do.
I don't think that she can do that.
No, I might be able
to.
Can
you?
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
I'd like to be able to do that. So
I'm going to baguette and I'm going to cast smite on it and whap him with it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You cannot use my cane. It's my walking stick.
So Darrell, how many bennies do you have?
I have 5 at the moment.
Wow. Okay.
Hoarder.
You're not using enough. How are you supposed to get
2.
more if you're at the max?
Well, we're about to embark on a misadventure.
That's true.
So
Percy Ray, how many bennies do you have?
very rapidly.
True story.
I have dose.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's do the breaking part of this shenanigan that we're engaging in here.
Well, and I think we can be pretty quick about this. So what I'm thinking is, it's the church, and if there's no one there, great, we're going in the front door. We'll sneak or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell Percy Ray, look, if someone spots us, I will distract them. I'll talk their ear off while I'm talking, and I can talk for quite a while. You continue with the break-in, the entering, and the looting part.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
But you got to promise me to not get distracted by pixies this time.
If I see one,
don't promise that.
Yeah.
You see that pixie, you go. You get that pixie.
Okay. So it sounds to me like Percy's going to be doing the breaking and the entering, and
well, we're going to see if we can just enter.
Okay, so as you approach, there are certainly, you feel like there's probably a guy in there.
Okay,
at least a guy in there. Probably he stayed in there and he sleeps in there just to watch the church overnight.
Okay,
so you can try to sneak in.
Yeah, if he's asleep, let's sneak.
Yeah, we just be sneaky.
And if we wake him up, then I'll go into my tale-telling mode.
Okay, so whoever
super quiet, so
whoever wants to can roll thievery to unlock the door.
Whoa, I've got this sharpened tuning fork here, and I can tune that lock up just like I can tune a banjo.
There
If you don't mind me taking lead on that,
No,
Percy
that's fine
Ray.
with me. That's fine with me, Jubilee.
Well, that's not a success, but I've got those 5 bennies,
You got 300 bennies.
right? So let's try to do better. That's still not. So another one. Oh, come on, die. Okay, there's a 4. I'll take that.
Okay, you got a 4. You
I
unlock the
did.
door successfully. Now, both of you go ahead and make stealth rolls.
Let's
Assuming-
see if this goes a little bit better, hopefully. Okay, you're about to be fired, die. Okay, 4. I'll take that.
4,
6.
6. Percy Ray is just cheating his way through this adventure. That's what he's doing. Okay. Okay, so you guys get into the church. You sneak by the guy who's just like laying there. He's got some shine next to him. You could, if you wanted to risk it, you could take it, Jubilee.
No,
But he's
like
just like-
literally, that's going to be my story if we get caught. Is I came here looking for the shine and the good time.
So yeah, he's sleeping there. He doesn't feel like he's got a care in the world. He's obviously been drinking. And you guys sneak past him and into his office, the reference office. So you just start searching through it.
I think stick a finger in it. Yup. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can get.
Yeah.
So nothing's, like yells at you when you go in, but you start looking through some stuff, like going through his desk and going through some of the stuff. And immediately, without rolling anything, I'm going to have you roll anyway, you find some script for sure. So a healthy amount of script, actually. And you find the latest collection plates. So, whatever, you find your bullet, Jubilee.
Yay!
You find some little like homemade necklaces. You find some stuff that's worthless, some stuff that's just okay, and whatever it is, it's worth something to somebody. Is the point here? And go ahead and both of you.
If it's
Go
worth
ahead.
something to me, I'll loot it. If it's not, I'll leave it.
Okay,
'Cause it's
so
just
you're going to
sad
take
otherwise.
everything that's not nailed down that is worth something to you.
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Excellent. Go ahead and you both roll notice for see what else you find.
Oh, it matters. Thank you. A
11.
10. Nice.
What did you get, Percy?
11.
11. Okay, so both of you are just like efficient as hunters going through this stuff.
It's
And
what we do.
so, who? Let's say, who? Do either of you have a cult?
I do not.
No.
I mean, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
there.
but you weren't invited to the loot party.
You
I would
decided
have
not.
helped Percy do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I mean, sorry.
There's RPG-13, everyone.
There it is.
Mark it.
Mark it. That's the last one.
Yeah. Okay, so Percy,
Yes.
what you find is a note. It's a handwritten note. And it says, I want to get this exactly right. You guys are searching through the office, and Percy,
Looting, to be sure.
Looting, yes. Percy, you find a handwritten note that catches your eye. For whatever
Okay.
reason, there's something about it. And it says, it seems like it was well hidden, right? But it's there. And it says, remember, you've only got a month. Make them pay. Lenny.
Oh.
But
Is there? Okay.
there's something else about this note. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong. And you feel like maybe Annie or maybe Zilla might be able to help you a little bit more with that. Maybe.
Does the penmanship have sort of like big curly Q's and strange looking sigils? Does it seem like it might
Well,
be
it does
kind of
not so
occultic?
much as the sigils, but it certainly has a distinctive look about it. Like it's
kind of fancy.
It feels fancy and old to you.
Okay. All right. I'll stuff that in my pocket for sure.
Remember, you've only got a month. Make them pay, Lenny.
Okay.
Jubilee, what you find? You find record that good old Reverend Taylor has been purchasing up some horses, which are at the livery in the town, and a wagon. And it seems as if this purchase was made on the sly. So people don't know about it. Like you can just tell by the record he's there and stuff like that, that it's likely he's got some kind of wagon, he's got horses, and he purchased them very recently.
It was a good plan. I know, because it would have been my plan.
And more than that, you also find a sheet saying the date, and the date is tomorrow.
Ooh.
So call it, I don't know, May 16th. Tomorrow is May 16th, and there's a little sheet of paper, date on it next to this bill of sale for these horses and this cart.
Okay.
So that's what you find, and then you also find some more knickknacks, some more scrip, a little bit of cash money from beyond, from the city. Cash money is weird in the Holler because it's like not technically worth money, but it's so weird that it is worth money. So to some people, it is worth.
This has got to be worth something to somebody somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I can get out of here. It's gonna be a very good thing to have.
But scrip is the currency in the Holler, at least in the big boy system, where you can spend scrip, which is company funds, basically.
At the company store.
At the company store. Yeah. So that's what you find in the room. And anything else you guys want to do that night? So
after we sneak back out of there, I'll be like, hey, Percy Ray, based on this note that I found here, do we want to try one more break and enter? Because I sure would like to sabotage that cart in case the Reverend tries to get out without being seen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll break as many entries as you.
Lives now too. I mean, basically.
What's that?
You certainly know where he lives now too.
Yeah, but I don't want to I kind of want to go to the livery and try and sneak in and just do something so that like a wheel, like an axle would break or pop off, not immediately, but like before he got too far. That's what I would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The old-timey equivalent of cutting the brake line.
Right, yeah, that kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, so is that what you want to do then?
Yeah,
that sounds
feed
good.
the horses something that's just going to give them diarrhea. Who knows?
I like that idea.
Okay. So yeah, the livery. Again, town has gone to sleep. The guy who owns the livery is asleep. But go ahead and roll stealth.
Awesome. Woo. That's a fold.
11.
Nice.
Okay.
You were
Percy
made
can
for
go
this,
wrong.
Percy Ray.
So you guys sneak in, and then if you want to sabotage, you do find the cart that you feel like this is it. This is the cart.
I was going to sabotage some other random guy's cart. Like Farmer Brown's halfway to home. Damn it.
It also is, it's obviously out of the way of the other things. Like this is separate. And it's also already filled with what looks to be some kind of provisions and stuff like that. There's no more loot in it, but it looks like there's stuff in there, and it looks like he's getting ready to go. So go ahead and roll repair if you want to sabotage the cart.
You got repair, Jubilee?
No.
Me neither.
Okay, well, we'll work together on this, and I'm sure there's some tools around here, and we'll use those tools.
You want to do it like not that it's obvious, and it'll break down later.
yeah.
That's what we're trying to do, but we'll
that's
going to
be repair.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just trying to find another skill for you.
Who wants to be the leader?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'll be the leader. I'll take full responsibility for
Love
this
it.
man when
I
he
offer
kills
you
him.
no help whatsoever.
All right.
You're welcome.
Let's see here. Yeah, that's a fail.
We'll take it.
Okay.
We're just like taking a wheel off, is like, or like unscrewing a cap or something, and
Yeah,
you know,
messing with a pin, a cotter pin, or whatever it is.
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
again, we like broke the lead that you use to steer the horse, and like that'll get him.
You take that, the struts come out, so it's a super bumpy ride. He still gets away, but it's
Yeah,
bumpy.
yeah.
So,
Or there was even better,
more
even
comfortable.
better, even better. There was like a loose wheel, and they tightened it.
Yeah. That'll be too tight. You'll get stuck in mud.
Right.
Boom. We've got this.
It's not only do you not sabotage it in the way that you wanted to, you fairly obvious on a rudimentary inspection that somebody was messing with it.
Legit.
Okay.
We still congratulate each other from like a job well done.
Yep.
You know? Like tip my hat to you.
There you go.
Like,
There you go.
Okay.
We got him, Jubilee.
yep.
Are you finally done with your
Yes, now we're done.
Yeah,
So,
I think we're
the
good.
one last thing
I mean-
before going to bed is we've got to go bury the loot. Because we don't want it on us, because if there's an
Nope.
investigation, we'll get caught red-handed. So we'll find like a special tree on the way to the car, just bury it in the ground out there, cover it back up, and then go back to sleep.
Okay. Awesome. So you're burying the loot. Nice.
Masterminds. Masterminds.
And finally, Annie Pickens, what are you doing on your sort of bed of moss and whatever else? Like Sally takes you in because you spent the night with Sally, right?
I in the evening with Sally, but it's important that I say, I collect the moss to have a nice comfy bed because I gotta commune with the other side.
Sure, the other side.
Yeah.
Well, Sally helps you. You find out Sally basically is an orphan. She's
Mhm.
living as an orphan. She's living by herself, and she's been doing it for a long time.
Mhm.
And you can ask her questions, but she's kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. But that's
Right.
part of that sadness that you guys have seen in her before,
Mhm.
is that she doesn't have anybody, and
Right.
the town likes her fine, but nobody's willing to like take her in and become her parent.
Mhm. Right.
She does mention that she's like, yeah, I used to. I mean, I used to have a mom, but I don't know. She doesn't talk much about it,
Mhm.
but she sort of, deflects all that away and it's like, isn't this great? Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that great? Isn't it nice out here? I can see the stars, and the stars are twinkling. It is amazing up there, and it's something that you never ever see in the Holler, unless you go to Fayfall.
Right.
So you're doing and you can extricate yourself from Sally and get your moss bed going.
I'm happy to keep her with me now that I know that she doesn't have I don't want to go to her house with her family, but
Yeah,
if she doesn't have a house and a family, I teach her how to make a real comfortable moss bed and how to imparting any knowledge that she doesn't know me for. Like I have my bag of bones and she can, if she wants to play with it, I let her touch them and it's or my staff and all that, but
Awesome.
I'm not pushing my way of life on her in any way, shape or form, but I'm, respectful of her, and any question she asks, I tell her. And then I do want to commune with the spirit world and see what they have to tell me. And because Percy mentioned it, I would like there to be a pet of some form that comes to me during the night so I can give Percy his pet in the morning. And even if it's every morning I give him a new pet, it's fine because, things happen to animals. But Percy needs a pet.
Are you creating some kind of spiritual murder factory for Percy here? What's going on?
It's possible. It's possible. Because he means the best, but, these animals are coming to me to be given to him. So, they know what they're doing. I'm not searching them out or anything.
Bring forth the squirrel sacrifice.
I mean, maybe the squirrel
knows.
knows how to avoid the danger that comes with Percy and is willing to give it an old college try. So those are the two things I would like to do.
Folks,
All
if
right.
you had Woodland Murder Factory as the phrase that pays, you won.
Okay, so communing with the spirits is what you're trying to do.
Correct.
Right? Now, let's just say, now there's no power for that. There's no like you don't have magic that does that necessarily.
Well, I
but
mean, I
it's
have the
something that you
talisman
do.
of the bag of bones, right?
Yep.
And so I have that. I would, throw the bones or just have the open gateway going and see how that goes.
So what are you looking for?
Just this place is different. And so spirits would know why. I mean, not know why, but know something, and have their story to tell because that's there as well.
I'm gonna say that you're engaging in stuff that is not necessarily folk magic, but more occult. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and roll.
Okay. I have that. I like it when you tell me I can roll stuff that I have.
I know you do. You're very good at it, actually.
I got a 5.
Drowning woman's getting around. A 5. Are you happy with your 5? Just asking.
No.
I'm asking.
Not if the GM asks me if I'm happy with it.
Okay.
Oh, so close. 5. I got a 5. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, worked out real well.
Well, something is off about the Reverend. That's sort of been explained to you by multiple sources at this point, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like it's his fault. It feels like something else is at play here. Something else is at play in this town. However, the blight removal, it's real. It's real. Beyond that, you feel like there's something out there that can help you figure this out. Mm-hmm. That's what you get. As far as a pet for Percy Ray, nothing works out there.
Oh, come on. I want him to have a baby skunk that only squirts when it's, against somebody bad.
Yeah, unless you had Beastmaster. Nope.
Oh, come on. Dang it. I tried, Percy Ray. I tried real hard for you.
Thank you,
I know.
And thank goodness for all of us that you failed.
Come on, skunks are smart. They know what's going on. They're good pets.
And that's why one did not appear.
One thing, what I want to do is, if it's okay with everybody, and the stream included, what I'd like to do is almost stop here. We're going to do one more thing and then do a second session. Is that okay with everybody? Because there's quite a bit left, and I love how it's going, and I think
I'm on it.
I think it would be fun to have this extended into a full session, another second session.
Are we going to do that like back to back with this, or on another day, or how does that work?
Well, I don't think we have time to do it today unless everybody's So I think we have to schedule it. But before we do that, and we have that break. Before we do that, I want to go skip ahead a little bit, but so we don't forget something. And that is, Percy is going to show this note to somebody. Is that correct? So let's say next morning happens, because I assume you're all done with the nighttime stuff. And Percy, what do you want to do with that note?
Well, I want to take it to Zilla and Annie both, because they got different ways of coming at things. Mm-hmm. Zilla more through the occult world, Annie more through the folklore and folk knowledge. And I think them putting their heads together, I know Jubilee won't know jack squat about it. I don't even show them the note on the way out. I think their brains coming together from those two different ways. No offense, Jubilee. No offense.
None taken.
I love the songs you write about me. It makes my heart sing. Now, and so I just want to show it to them, and said, I think it's real odd. It says, you got a month, and you try to me, I just think he's being told to soak these people for everything they're worth, and he only has a month. But I think there's something weird about it that I can't tell. So I'm just going to hand it over to Zilla and Annie.
Okay. So each of you can sort of take a gander at this note, you can either roll occult, folklore, or faith.
Yeah. And we'll reinforce that with, and we know the month is up tomorrow because, he had all his stuff set on a cart, but that's okay. We sabotaged it. He's not
It's
getting
okay.
anywhere.
He's got a comfortable ride.
Everything's
He's not
fine.
getting anywhere.
All right, I'm going
All right.
folklore on that. And I got a 6.
Okay.
I have a penny.
Okay.
Ooh. 14.
14.
Yes.
Ron, what do you roll?
I'm going to go with occult in this case.
Okay.
I have both occult and faith at a D8, so.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to spend a penny. Oh boy.
Do it. Do
How's it
it.
going over there?
It'd be the last penny I have.
That's
I just
okay.
gave up mine. Come on, this is the
last
important
thing we're gonna
stuff.
do today.
Okay. All right. Last penny. Yes. Double ace. That's a 10.
Okay, you got a 10. Cool. Just one sec.
Light.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So, you got a 10 and you got a what, Annie?
14.
14. Wow. Guys are
Showing
killing
off.
it.
I mean, I know
Okay.
what I do. I do it well.
So, something about this note feels there's a curse associated with it. It's not with the note itself, though, but something that touched this note is evil. Evil. And Annie, with your folklore role, you've heard stories. You've heard stories of people, of men or even women, and older and younger, sort of living apart from the Holler. They just show up for no reason, and they sort of interact with people without any kind of history with them, and they make deals. And it usually results in some kind of story that is told over drinks in a bar, or over shine, sitting around the stump, and it's usually results in something bad. I made this deal with this guy. He seemed on the level, and it all sort of came tumbling down. I got what I wanted, but I didn't get what I wanted. There's the
Oh,
stories.
I've heard of this too. He's been to the crossroads.
Zilla, with your occult, with talking to Annie about this, you kind of get that bringing it all together kind of thing. Like, I've heard of these, I've heard of this, and it's the story of the old scratch. It's this being that lives apart. It's not in league with the big boys. It's its own thing, and they're working some pretty dark magic. They're working some pretty intense stuff that's beyond all of our abilities. It's beyond all of us. Beyond the big boys, it's beyond us. And there's no rhyme or reason to it, but they tend to tempt people and corrupt people. And that's the sense that you're getting from this note. That whoever Lenny is, may be an old scratch that met up with Jebediah Taylor. Maybe more than once. And is maybe responsible for this whole thing. And if they are, it's likely there's another shoe that's about to drop.
with that,
not just with Jebediah Taylor fleeing town.
with that, Zilla kind of makes eye contact with everyone of the group. She cranes her head side to side as she looks at everybody. She says, "We need to save these people before old Scratch comes a-calling for his pay."
And with that, we'll stop there, and we'll pick it up next time.
Cool.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Tracy.
That was fun.
That was great.
Tim, you are just this. I love this.
You're
setting.
a freaking delight,
This is amazing.
Tim.
Good
Well,
gravy.
Why you
What's
got to
up?
be so gosh darn delightful?
Once I start talking like Percy Ray, I have a hard time stopping. So my wife ain't gonna be too happy tonight when I come down. I'm like, "What you want to eat for dinner?"
You unleashed him.
Yep.
Now I've legit added a new verse to the Percy Ray saga.
That was awesome. It was really good. Really good.
I can't wait to do this again. This will be
Yeah.
quite excellent to do the
Yeah.
second part.
I felt
Yeah,
like
I'm
this went
excited.
pretty well. I'm curious to see how Chelsea and Chris thought it went, and I'm excited because there's plenty more. And as long as you guys are engaged, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good times.